Yes. But first of all, I just want to say thank you to the Miss South Africa organization, especially to Sir Werner for allowing this interview to happen. Thank you, Sir Werner, for making this possible. So, Natasha, it's an honor and privilege for me to finally meet
Thank
you in
you.
person.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really so lovely for you to invite me.
Ever since you got appointed, or even while you were competing during Miss South Africa last year, I knew you would be destined for greater things. So when you look back at your crowning, to your appointment video or to your crowning moment video, how do you feel?
So I must say, by that time, I didn't know I'm going to Miss Universe. So keep that in mind. We only found out approximately a month after the crowning. So at that moment, obviously, there was some disappointments. I mean, I came second runner up, so I didn't win Miss South Africa. But when I think of being appointed as Miss Universe South Africa, this is something that I've always dreamed of going to Miss Universe. So that was a surreal moment to me to know that, destiny will always be there, regardless of the outcome.
So now you're a firm believer of destiny.
Yes, I am. No, I am.
Can you walk us through where were you or the exact moment when the organization told you that you would be representing South Africa, your country, to the forthcoming Miss Universe pageant?
This was actually so stressful. I need to tell you the whole story. I don't think people know this. But we obviously just fulfilled our duties as Miss South Africa runner up and second runner up. And this was an ongoing conversation with the whole Miss South Africa organization on, where you want to go to, but that necessarily doesn't mean you are going there. And we were called in, I think it was 3 weeks after the pageant. We were called in, and I thought we were going to find out where we are going to. And walking out of that meeting, I actually didn't know. We didn't find out. So the suspense was killing me. Then we got a meeting request which said international pageant announcement. We were sitting at the Miss South Africa offices, all three of us. And my heart was beating so badly because I really wanted to go to Miss Universe. But I think so many people didn't expect a second runner up to go. So I was so fortunate, to get this opportunity granted to me. And Steph, actually, she mocked me. She was like, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course I'm nervous." And then they actually just told us. And yeah, at that moment, I really felt fulfilled.
So, is competing in Miss Universe a lifelong dream?
Yes, it is. Like looking back, I've done pageants since I was 12 years old. And I think every pageant girl dreams of going to the national competition, which was Miss South Africa in my case. But I've dreamt of going much bigger and representing my country, and that was obviously in my eyes Miss Universe. It was something that I related a lot more to just what the platform stands for, and yeah, I really worked hard and tirelessly towards this dream. It came, I think, 12 years now, and I'm finally going. I'm wearing that South Africa sash. I can't wait.
Listening at you right now, it seems that you've really prepared. You've really waited and prepared well for this. So, how are you responding to the drastic change in your life so far?
I've changed as a person. When I just look back at entering Miss South Africa, I think it was 8 months ago. And sitting here today, I'm not the same person anymore. And that's regardless of preparing for Miss Universe. That was just going through the process of Miss South Africa. You really go into Miss South Africa with the right intention of not only winning the crown, but what type of woman you want to be while you are there. And I think that's what they focus on so well. And that's what the organization really gets right, is that they transform that woman from the inside out, inside out. So for me, it was going through a lot of emotional, mental, I wouldn't say strains, but challenges. So when I'm sitting here now, I'm like, I know exactly not what to expect necessarily at Miss Universe, but there is a lot more a lot more control in that aspect, in that emotional and mental aspects. And I think it's so important when you go to Miss Universe to be ready in that department. It's not only preparing for your evening gown segments. It's mentally, emotionally preparing. It's holistically preparing from the inside out. And it's so important going there knowing that it's only your mental state that's going to make you win.
So, with no exact date and venue yet of the competition of when Miss Universe is happening, so you're focusing more on that aspect, preparing yourself mentally, holistically.
Yes, yes. So I'm preparing as if it's tomorrow. I'm doing life coaching. There's gown fittings. There's, all the type of segments. You do focus on each and every one of them. You don't neglect any of them. But you can't only focus on, the segments that I wouldn't say less important, but there's things that matter more than that. And you need to get that right, because if your heart and your intention isn't at the right place, you can't be Miss Universe. So I think every single woman going there is going with a purpose, is going with a reason. And so I'm focusing, like I said, really on myself as a woman. What can I really offer to that platform? Because that's what's important. It's not only the road to winning the crown. What are you going to do with that crown? So for me, it's getting ready in that terms of being the right woman for the platform for that position.
Yes. So now you mentioned about the platform the Miss Universe has, the massive platform the Miss Universe has. So how do you intend to use it as you go through your reign?
Yes, yes. So for me, it was, and that was also my purpose at Miss South Africa. It's something I would like to carry through. And this is actually based on my life. It's based out of experience. It's not only something that came, now. It didn't come now. It's something throughout my whole life that's been there. And I just got the opportunity to get this platform to actually voice it. So for me, I was growing up with difficult circumstances. And only at 16 years old, I lost my father.
Oh.
And he was unemployed for 3 years before that. So we really struggled in so many aspects. And emotionally going through that at 16 years old, it's hard. It's a message that needs to be heard, that no matter your circumstances, you are a product of your decisions, not your circumstances. It's something I really live by. And going to this platform, this universe, it's really challenging that inner entrepreneur. It's really making something successful out of yourself despite your circumstances. And I think it's so relevant, especially now with this pandemic. It's so many people have lost a loved one, have lost a job, going through really difficult circumstances. And I just really want to be that representation of, what, if I can do it, you can do it. So it's really speaking out of the experience point of view. So yes, it's really utilizing that platform for so much more. And I don't want to call it inspire. I want to call it adding that moral fiber to society. That's what's important to me, because that's the only reason why I am here today, is of the previous women that came before me.
Wow. I didn't know that you went through so many hardships in your life when you were younger. So can you share us your humble beginnings? Because you mentioned earlier that you were already joining beauty contests at the age of 12, or modeling. Yeah.
I actually love to share the story, because I started doing modeling as a hobby. And it's quite funny, because I was a tomboy growing up. And I did my first pageant, which was my primary school pageant. And I won that pageant. And in that package was a modeling voucher. So day before it expired, I went to this modeling school. And listen, I didn't know anything. I was bad. And I started out there, and it was actually just so fun for my mother and myself to, go on weekends, do this pageant, do this contest. And when my father lost his job when I was 13 years old, so I was in grade 7. I actually got a different reason behind doing pageants. I really had to actually sustain myself through it. So, for instance, I would enter this modeling competition, and if there's prize money, or, for instance, I actually won a scooter, and I used that scooter to drive to school from the age of 16. I won bursaries to be able to actually study my degree. If I would win prize money to pay my own hockey tour, that was my sustaining myself. It was supporting my mother when my father wasn't there anymore. So it was really, pageants gave me purpose. And it was so lovely entering Miss South Africa knowing I didn't only do this pageant, because it wasn't a pageant in my eyes. It was really going on there with purpose and knowing what pageants did for me and what it can do for other women. So I can't even imagine what Miss Universe can do for a person.
All right. Wait, before anything else, before we proceed, can we give a shout out to Miss You Updates? Nika, she's watching.
Thank you so much. I was actually looking for the box of replying you, but I can't see it. Thank you, Nika. Oh, shame, that's special. Hi, Neil.
Yeah, so thank you, Miss You Updates. Thank you, Natasha.
Yes, thank you for tuning in on this Sunday. Really, thank you so much.
Yeah, so you were talking about your humble beginnings, that you fell in love with your prize money with that modeling certificate. I'm curious to ask, at what point did you realize you want a career out of this?
It's so funny because there was no specific moment where I was like, I want to make a career out of this. When I was 12, I won this big modeling competition in South Africa, but I was 12. I mean, looking back to me, And I remember on that weekend, Nicole Flint, Miss South Africa 2009, was crowned. And we were all watching it. And I remember her being crowned, and I'm asking my parents, why isn't she crying? Because if I would win Miss South Africa, I would bawl my eyes out. And what I wanted to say was, I just knew at that moment that Miss South Africa had meaning to me. And at 12 years old, I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted to enter. So when I was approximately 21, I decided, I'm going to enter when it's 2020. I'm going to finish my degree in 2019, which I did. And when 2020 came, it was obviously the pandemic. And I was thinking to myself, do I really want to do this? Like it's in such an uncertain year. I don't know what to expect. And to this day, I'm so grateful that I did, regardless of all the obstacles along the way, the pandemic, this virus. I'm sitting as Miss Universe South Africa, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yes. And speaking of the pandemic, I recently heard that you got COVID-19. Can you share us your experience of how you were able to survive COVID-19?
This is such a serious thing in South Africa because we are having a second wave, which is very severe and quite different from the first one. And it's quite scary to think. I didn't have a lot of symptoms when I went to test. And the only reason I went to test because my mother tested positive. And I was busy with Miss Universe prep, and I had to go and test before I could continue with all my preparations. So I went to test. It was my first time I ever tested for COVID. And I remember getting my results back and thinking, I didn't expect it because I didn't have severe symptoms. So I'm really quite fortunate to say that I only had shortness of breath. I slept a lot. I was so tired, so fatigued. And I lost my taste and my smell for a week. And where I actually know someone quite personally that lost his life because of COVID. So it's really getting close and personal. And I think, we really need to take this virus so serious. And that's maybe why we haven't got a date for Miss Universe yet, is because it's such uncertain times. But yes, for me, my own personal experience, I didn't have it so severe. My mother had it quite bad. But luckily I recovered quite fast.
Yes, luckily. Yes. So I'm curious to ask what, during the time that you were probably isolated from the rest of the world, what were the learnings or realizations that you had during that period of time?
So it was actually during December holiday. So I missed a Christmas with my family for the first time ever, which was really hard mentally. And actually what I said on my final night, my final question was, remember what you still have and not necessarily what you've lost. And not speaking of maybe someone so close to you, but maybe if you have lost your job, just think of what you still have left. Really keep that hope. So for me, it was mentally keeping you sane. And I'm really backing my Q&A is spending time with friends and family, because when I didn't get to do that, it was really, really hard for me mentally. So, Shane, just look at that video of my mom. Shane.
Oh.
So hard not seeing my family. I think that was the worst part, is mentally knowing everyone's going on with the festive season and you have to sit home not being able to do anything.
Yes, yes, but at least you know the realizations that we have thought of during that time would really make us a better person, right? So I think that's a silver lining.
Yes, yes, of course. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I actually remembered that starting to prep for Miss Universe, it's quite intense. It's a very tight schedule. There's a lot going on. And I think getting COVID, it made me realize to take things a bit slower, really rest when you need to rest. So I had 2 weeks of solidly resting. And I felt I had such FOMO because I just wanted to prep for Miss Universe and get on the roll.
Oh.
And I just had to take a step back and not actually do that.
And I'm so glad you finally recovered from that sickness, and now up and running for your preparation in Miss Universe. And it's no it's no longer sidelining you from focusing on the competition. And as I read your bio, you seem to be a very well accomplished woman. You founded your own business company. You took up marketing. You took up marketing in school. So how did this all come about?
I'm actually so fortunate that everything actually just linked with each other, because I never thought in my life I would be a businesswoman, and my circumstances led me to there. So I'm actually quite fortunate that my dream aligned with who I was as a person. My dream of being Miss South Africa, using this platform, going to Miss Universe, really linked with my circumstances and my experiences. And I think that's what destiny is called. So for me, it's nothing was forced, nothing was planned. Everything happened like it should have. And now I just get to use a platform such as Miss Universe that grants us this platform to voice that, to voice that experience. And I think every single country is going there with a specific message, representing a specific type of person. So I'm very blessed to say that it all just worked out perfectly in my life.
So what inspired you to put up your own clothing line, or your Natasha Jeffries?
Natalia Jeffries. I know it's quite hard one.
Natalia Jeffries, sorry.
So actually, this is everything just links so perfectly. But when I did modeling, my mom, at a point, we were struggling with finances, and she just said, "You know what? This modeling dresses are becoming too expensive." Like, she couldn't keep up, and she was like, "You know what? I had sewing in school. I'm gonna try this out myself." And she started making my dresses, and looking back, I actually need to dig up a photo, but it wasn't so great. But along with the time, she made obviously each and every single one for me. Eventually, as the teenager I wanted to have an input, and I wanted to have a say of what I'm going to wear and what type of style. And then in school, I had art when I was 16, and I switched to designing. We had a subject, designing, in school. And in my first year out of school, I actually registered my company, not knowing this will be my career. So I'm quite blessed that my mother actually kind of planted that seed for me, and now it's something I do full time along with preparing for Miss Universe. So really blessed, really love it, but it's something that came so unexpectedly, because I started doing marketing. I actually did business management for a year as well, and later on realized my love for designing.
So how long has this company been existing?
5 years this year. I actually can't believe it. 5 years since I was 19.
Wow. So
I love it.
So how is it thriving now, even that there's a pandemic? Is the sales going okay?
It's really hard. I think all small businesses took a knock, and it's not only in South Africa, but it's something I experienced quite directly. But during the pandemic, so in lockdown, it came last year in March, and it was level 5 in South Africa. And luckily by then I entered Miss South Africa. So I actually could use my time towards something else when my business wasn't doing so well. And actually, now speaking about it, I'm really so excited to show you guys my project for Miss Universe, because it has a lot to do with my business, with this pandemic, and supporting small business owners.
Oh, speaking of that, Nika has a follow-up question with what you
I'm
said.
also really
She asked, Natasha, did you design your own gown for Miss Universe, or did you leave it completely to your chosen designer?
Oh, guys, his name is Werner Wessels. Do you know him? He's a master. I completely trust Werner's vision for me. And he's got so much experience at Miss Universe that I left it up to him and my designer. He actually gave me a choice on the designer I wanted to use. And I immediately chose Yula Shrey. She made me some beautiful creations during Miss South Africa. And I obviously had input. I mean, Bernard always comes back to you and just asks you, how do you feel about it? But he has a vision. He's a visionary person. So, but I am making something very important for Miss Universe from my own company. Very exciting, but I can't share too much.
Don't you just now that we're talking about the pandemic, your clothing line, don't you really feel a bit relieved that your business line has something to do with the basic necessities of people, like clothing? That's why you can say that your company is still thriving, even at this point of time.
So actually not, because we specialize something in more couture and wedding gowns. So it's not just day-to-day wear or informal wear, and which makes it hard because in South Africa, when we are at certain levels, there can't be events held such as weddings or matric farewells, and that's where I specialize in. So that made it quite hard, because when the weddings were postponed, I didn't have client bookings because there's so much uncertainty. I can't even imagine arranging my own wedding in a pandemic and not knowing if it's going to happen or not. So my company is more catering for that aspect. So no, it wasn't a basic need or it wasn't a need actually. So we took a knock. So I can really relate to so many businesses out there struggling during this time.
All right. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. For sure, your business will eventually pick up once the restrictions, once we all get vaccinated from the virus. All right. There are so many questions coming in and comments. Luandila Christopher Delwa says, I cannot wait to see your project. Your dress was the best I've never seen. Such a beautiful gown in Miss South Africa stage.
Thank you, Lawandile.
And then there's another request here. Can you all greet him? It's coming from Neil Brian Sumalinog. Hi, Miss Natasha. Please greet me. It's my 17th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Neil. What a special day. I hope you have a lovely year.
All right. And then there's another question here. I don't know if you would like to answer. Jaylene Murgaziko. Natasha, is it true that Miss Universe will be held in May?
Nothing is confirmed yet, so that's all I can say. So nothing has been confirmed. But if I know, trust me, you guys will know.
Yes. Yeah. Let's just wait for Miss Universe organization to really announce it, because even from my end, I still really don't know if when is it really happening. So going back to our conversation, no doubt you're one accomplished woman at such a young age. Do you think that it's something because that you have been conscious of, or is it something because that you grew up in a family of boys and that you were the only girl in your karate class when you were younger?
I actually want to just see, because you broke up there, but conscious of, no. It's something that's been driven by passion. I mean, everything I've chosen throughout my life hasn't been something that's been planned. So no, everything just happened like it did. I mean, being my only girl in my karate class, never knew I was going to do Miss South Africa, and never mind going to Miss Universe. So, no, it's nothing I've been conscious of.
But now that you think about it, it kind of links or relates to everything that is happening to your life, as you've said
Yeah.
earlier, because the
Yeah.
only girl in your class, or like it feels like working in a male, if you relate it now at your age where you feel like working in a male dominated field. So yeah, everything that happened to you earlier kind of paved the way for what is
Yes, of
happening to your
course.
life right now. So, yeah. So, now that we are talking about it, how everything just makes sense, falling at the right place at the right time for you. So, how do you think pageants like Miss Universe are changing now when
I
it seems like women like you who not are only beautiful but also represent something about her community?
So I think if you look back in 5 years ago, everything has changed. Never mind a new organization taking over. It's going towards not worrying about physical beauty anymore because that's irrelevant. That only gets you that far. You have to contribute so much more on the platform. And that's what fashion are getting right. It's not only about physical appearance anymore. And coming from a background where I did a lot of pageants, it was a once-off thing. So you would get on stage, you would walk, and they would completely base it off what you looked like. Whereas now, Miss South Africa, doing Miss Universe, you have to have purpose. You have to have a message. You have to be a woman that aspires to be something specific or reach a certain goal. So there's a lot of more compassion needed. There's a lot of drive that's needed if you want to be successful in pageants. And I think we are getting it right as women to show people that, you know what, you can be as beautiful as you want to be, but there's a lot more that contributes to a woman.
So going by with what you said, do you think the pageant is really changing for the better, or is it something that you see as a phase until the next type of beauty comes in?
No, it's changing for the better. And I'm quite fortunate being at the right age and being able to get on a platform such as Miss Universe and Miss South Africa because now more than ever it has a lot more meaning than it used to. And I think that's why so many more people are interested in pageants, is specifically for this reason. When a beauty queen speaks, people listen. I mean, look at Zozi when she spoke about leadership, and I could have never related to Miss Universe more than her. She also came from very hard circumstances in the Eastern Cape here in South Africa, and only on a second try of Miss South Africa she got it right to win and be Miss Universe. So when Zozi speaks, people listen and people feel inspired, and that's exactly why I feel pageants are making a success out of this. It's not only about the physical beauty anymore, and I love it.
Me too. Yeah, the diversity, the inclusivity of it all, right? Speaking of Sozi, South Africa, because of her, has been killing it in Miss Universe. Two Miss Universe winners, one runner-up placement in the last 3 years. Are you feeling pressured right now? If yes, how are you responding to it so far?
Not really excited. Guys, I am so proud of the women who came before me, and I look up to them in so many ways and aspects. I can't even explain it. And actually, last year, no, 2019, sorry, I'm still in 2020. When I watched all these crowning, the whole Miss Universe show, it was 2 a.m. in South Africa until 5 a.m. And I ate my popcorn. I supported her. I remember crying when she won, but never in a million years did I think I would be the next one after her representing. So I'm just so excited, so fortunate to actually be there. Nerves, I think, regardless of what country you are going to have those nerves, but excitement, overload.
So, have you been getting advice from them in terms of strategies, in terms of what to do? If yes, what has been the most memorable advice that has been standing out to you at the
No,
moment?
I haven't, but I've got the Miss South Africa organization that knows exactly what they are doing. I feel like Miss South Africa is so aligned with what Miss Universe stands for. I'm in such great hands. So I have Werner, which trained all of them. So getting advice there, getting assistance there is everything I need and more.
Yeah, I'm confident that Sir Werner has some tricks up his sleeves
Yes,
or
you always have.
plans, massive
Oh, you always
plans.
have.
Yeah, to make you stand out in the pageant soon. We cannot just, we really have to take your country seriously because of your track record. Suddenly, your country exploded since IMG took over. Like South Africa, you know, had Catriona probably not competed in 2018, you might have 3 Miss Universe crowns already.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, so no doubt you're one hell of a woman or a candidate that we should look out for in Miss
Thank
Universe. So, what advice would you give to all the young girls who would like to become a beauty queen like you when they grow up? Do they have to nurture or develop that ability in order to do well in this industry?
I feel like no one should be trying to be me. I really encourage every single woman to strive to be her best version of herself and not strive to be anyone else. Because when I entered Miss South Africa, the one thing that we heard a lot was authenticity. And it was being 100% yourself because they don't want another Tamron. They don't want another Zozi. They don't want another Demi or Natasha. They want the best version you can be. And it really takes a while to really step into your power and what your abilities are. So my message would just be is try to really improve yourself as a human being and not look at other people's successes, and you will come out on the top.
Nice, nice advice. Yes, you're very cool, calm, and collected.
Thank
Considering
you.
the back-to-back mission, considering the Herculean task that is thrust upon your shoulders right now, wow, just
Thank
you're
you.
you're made of sterner stuff, no doubt. So let's now go to the second part of the interview
Okay.
where I'll ask you personality questions to get to know you more because we've been asking serious stuff during the first 30 minutes. So are you ready? This is gonna
Yes.
be fun. Okay, all right. So here we go. If you could appear in the cover of a magazine, Time or Vogue, which would you pick and why?
Definitely Vogue. I mean, I am a fashion designer, so I would ideally be on the front cover of the magazine wearing my own design and titles such as Entrepreneurship Empowered or Empowered by Entrepreneurship or something like
Oh, I like that. All right. Who's your favorite Miss Universe title holder?
that. Should I be
Mm.
biased or not?
It's up to
Damien
you.
Zozi? Damien Zozi? But okay, let's say not Damien Zozi. Let's say not Damien Zozi.
Yeah,
I would
not
have
South
to say,
African.
I would say Pia Wurtzbach.
Yeah.
Simply, I would say Pia, yes, because simply the way she carried herself, she lost gracefully on that Miss Universe stage, and she won gracefully, and that's what it was. That to me was just resilience and a whole story. Her entering Bini Bini Filipinas, I think 3 times, thrice. So
Yes.
it's something so big to look up to. It's very inspiring for her to have done it 3 times and then thinking at first she didn't win Miss Universe, but then she did.
So you now believe in destiny. Yeah.
That's destiny. That is what you call destiny. That when Steve Harvey calls out, doesn't call out your name, but yet you are still Miss Universe. That's destiny.
Yeah. Wait, Nika has another comment for you. She says, "Damn, Natasha, you're amazing. Top 5 for South Africa again. Your
Oh, shame.
answers are amazing."
It means really a lot coming from you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
And
Nika.
yes, Yanda, Yanda, thank you so much. Um,
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ayanda, for your comment, and even Neil again. You're so beautiful, he says. So going back to our questions, if you were to have a dinner with a famous, influential personality, who would it be and why?
Kamala Harris. I actually want to ask her what it feels like to be the first um, female vice
Female
president.
vice.
Such an important role to take on. And I think an important role is also Miss Universe. So I would like to sit around the table, get some tips, what it feels like to be that female, just giving them the men a run for their money. I
Yeah,
would love
calling the shots. What instead? Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Speaking of female, if you were to be given a chance to choose a judging panel, which would you choose? Let's say in Miss Universe, all female or all gay?
Imagine an all gay panel. I'm envisioning RuPaul's Drag Race. Do you actually watch that? Have you ever watched
A
RuPaul's
bit,
Drag
a
Race?
bit, a bit, a bit. Yeah.
Really, that can get quite crazy. But I'll have to stick to all female because you know that is what we stand for going to Miss Universe is how powerful women are. So they would know exactly sitting there what it's like to be a woman, the struggles of a woman, challenges of a woman. So I would have to say all female.
All right. Okay. My prod tech guy has a question here. Okay. Will you be wearing the creations from your clothing line in one of your Miss Universe activities?
I think my face
Uh,
says it.
the
Yes,
silence is already telling. Yes.
yes, of course I am, and I guys, fashion makes me so excited. It's just a way to express yourself. And you know what they say, it's always like your energy introduces you before you do. And I feel that's the same with an outfit. You can see if she's a boss lady or not.
Yes. All right. So, if you were to date anyone from the Avengers, who would it be and why?
I've got two answers to it. So
Two.
I'm unfortunately not up for dating. Number two, I don't watch the Avengers. I'm just being honest. Never watched it. Or have I? Is that the superhero movie of all the
Yeah,
superheroes?
Spider-Man.
It was one. Okay, but I can't date Wonder Woman because that's a woman. But not date any of them. I'm off limits.
All right, fair enough. Okay, let me ask. Let's go back to the females. Who is your favorite South African model?
Well, actually, I would call her a model and role model, but Rolene Strauss, Miss World 2014. I really can't help myself. She's been such an all-time favorite to me. I have such admiration for that woman. I actually was there in 2014 when she won Miss South Africa. I was literally like 2 meters from the stage. And I remember when she did Miss World, it was the first time I actually ever watched Miss World. And I bawled like a little baby when South Africa won. So I think she's such a sentimental role model to me because I feel like in this era, she was the one lady that put us back on the map and just showed the world what South Africans was made of. And to this day, she just graces with she's like the epitome of beauty and timelessness and classiness. I She done me.
I agree.
we
I
actually
agree.
we actually had lunch. We had lunch with her, the top 10. We had lunch with her in Cape Town. And sitting around the table with her, she never thought higher of herself. She never made you feel like you were any less. She was just so humble. And I really admire her for that.
Did she give you an advice for your forthcoming competition?
Not yet, but she's always supportive. She always just during the past few years that I've watched her on social media and when I get to engage with her, she's just always so friendly and loving.
I love her Tuesdays talk on her Instagram every
love
now
her.
and then. Yeah.
And I don't know if you team, but she did bring out a book, and she does life coaching actually now. And I feel like she's just using her platform after Miss World so well and still inspiring people, but at the same time focusing on her personal life. And I really aspire to do that. Is after my reign as Miss Universe South Africa or Miss Universe, you never know.
Yes.
I would love to also utilize my platform in terms of still inspiring, still doing what I can and contribute, but yet still focusing on myself as a woman.
Yes, I love Rolene so much. Even you can see even after her reign is over, she's still proactive in helping out
Yes,
people.
exactly.
She's definitely a role model. There's another question here from a fan, from a viewer. Um, from Tata Bantolo. Hi, Miss Natasha. What are your strengths and your weaknesses?
I would say my strengths are that I'm quite resilient. I really don't let a challenge take me on and lose towards it. Even if it takes me a bit longer, I will always fight for it. Weaknesses, I wouldn't call out any weakness, because I feel like weaknesses to me is just vulnerability, and it's not necessarily a weak point. It's something that contributes to you as a person, and just relatability towards other people, and showing them that even if you have a weakness, people relate to that. People can actually interact with you more because they feel like you are human as well. I see weaknesses as strengths as well.
Okay, there's another question here from Aljid Serapion. Hi, Natasha. Have you talked to Queen Zozie?
I haven't. So obviously she was a final judge at Miss South Africa. And she was, Adam, I need to tell you, when I saw Zozie in person, I was like, she is Miss Universe. Like, she's so beautiful. But she came up to our table. We were sitting having dinner, and Zozie just came up. It was before final interview, and we all knew she was a judge. So we were like, oh. And she was just like, we're just going to have conversations tomorrow. We're just going to interact, get to know you. She was so chilled, so engaging, so warm. That's my feel off of Zozie. She's so relatable. So relatable.
I want to meet her in person, but I don't
Oh,
know if I could
she's
do that in this
beautiful.
lifetime.
Wow, she's beautiful.
You know,
Gorgeous.
if ever Miss Universe will be held in South Africa, I will really go there. Once, assuming the pandemic is over, I've never been to South Africa. I mean, I think that's my only chance to see all of you, even Sir.
I'm not going to lie. If Miss Universe is ever held in South Africa, it's going to be. Do you know Stephanie Wheel, our CEO? She's going to make it insane. Like, it's going to be incredible if it's here one day. I don't
Oh
know
my
when it's
God.
one day.
Yeah, I think Zosie has hinted in the past that it might be held there in South Africa for sure. Yeah,
I
but
think that I think that was the conversation before the pandemic, but obviously a lot
yes,
has changed, especially with our economy status. It's quite hard in South Africa now. So, but we'll see. Hopefully, we just need to keep faith.
yeah. So many questions are coming in. Wow. From
Thank you, guys.
Alfonsi, is there a Miss Universe candidate from your batch whom you got close already?
So I had an interview with Miss Brazil. So I feel the connection most with her. I actually got to speak with her, engage with her. So such a lovely human being. But other than that, we've got a Miss Universe WhatsApp group, and we all like, if it's someone's birthday, we would say happy birthday, or when someone is going through something difficult in their country, we would engage with them. So we are trying to make a sisterhood out of this, and that's what Miss Universe is so well known is a sisterhood. So not one specific person, but I know I've chatted more to Miss Brazil.
All right. Wow. I wish I could be part of that WhatsApp group.
Right? When Indonesia sent me the link, I was feeling honored. I was like, I'm on the Miss Universe WhatsApp group.
Oh my God. Or see, yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to be part of the sisterhood. Okay. From Radlov Maui. He's from the Philippines. Hi, Miss Natasha. Can you do a back-to-back to win in Miss
Yes,
Universe?
why not? Why not? I can't see why not. You know what? Like I said, destiny. If it's in God's plan, it will happen for South Africa.
I love your confidence. I love your fighting spirit. Sir Werner, I need your training with how you train your girls. I swear.
Oh, he's really like a father figure to me in this pageant. He really is always there, just checking up, following up. Before this interview, he actually phoned me. He's like, "Are you ready? Are you fine?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm very, very I'm fine." And he's just always there, so supportive, and everything that a coach needs to be, it's Werner.
Yeah, he's very hands-on. I can see that on his Instagram posts or from from all your fellow sisters posts on Instagram. Yeah, he's very cool. He seems to be very cool to be with. Yeah, cool
Yes.
mentor. Last question from our fan before we go back to my questions. Have you ever
Yes.
spoken to Miss Philippines, Jaylene Mugaradzkiko? Yes,
I
asks.
haven't. I actually haven't. No, I
Ooh,
haven't.
okay,
You
so
never
who
know. We
knows?
might be roommates. You never know.
Yeah. Okay. What is one thing you will never understand about the opposite sex?
When I think of my brother and my boyfriend, it's
Okay, I won't ask. I won't probe any further. But for sure, it's something. Uh,
this is so funny. I don't really know what to answer,
for
but
for sure, it's
well,
something that has scarred you for life.
it's just maybe the way they think is women are much more emotional, but it's not something bad. We are a lot more yeah, so we're speaking with emotions where men don't really understand that always. So that's one thing I would love to understand is, how men don't always get so emotionally attached to something. Maybe that.
Yeah. So, would you still join a pageant if the advocacy segment of the competition is removed?
Yes, because I feel like why should there be a segment advocacy for you to do pageants? It's what you use a platform for, and I feel like if the passion is there, the advocacy will always be there, regardless if they make it a segment or not. So yes, I would, and I don't really feel like Miss Universe has a set segment for advocacy. It's something that the delegates have made themselves is going there with a certain purpose and going there to represent something specific and stand for something specific. And that will always be there in pageants. And I feel like it needs to be there. It's your responsibility to bring it there. The pageant shouldn't say you need an advocacy. What do you want to use and utilize the platform for?
Back to back is
Thank you.
real. Back to guys, I'm telling you, back to back is real. That's all. Okay,
Thank
let's now get to the harder questions.
you.
Okay,
Okay.
over the last 8 months, we have seen people's livelihood ravaged by the pandemic. How, as a title holder, will you give these people optimism at this trying time?
I go back to my answer in my Q&A, and one thing I said there was the question was, how do you keep yourself mentally fit during this time? And my answer was, always remember what you still have and not what you necessarily lost. And it's really hard, and I try to be an optimistic person, and I do speak out of a place of experience, because even though it wasn't during this pandemic, I also lost someone so dear to me, and he also lost his job, where it impacted me as a child so badly. So I can imagine so many families going through that at this current time. And it's so lovely to be able to relate to those people. So for me, it's just using my platform to show people that, like I said, it's a life philosophy of mine, but it's not to be a product of your circumstances, and really make that decisions in your life so important going forward, because life is going to knock you down time and time again, but it's really how you stand up. Adam.
I'm going home now. Someone already won.
Adam,
Back up.
you're making me face.
No, I mean,
Thank you. Hashem, thank you. Thank you.
Even the way you just answer simple questions.
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I love your answer because you were able to relate your personal experience from it.
Mm.
You didn't just give motherhood statements. You really spoke from your core. And I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise that you got struck by that virus, but you really speak from the heart. So you're just very charismatic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But speaking of the pandemic, now that you revealed that you got COVID-19, and as we all know, the vaccines all over the world are being rolled out from all these medical companies. So, do you think that these getting vaccinated should be should be made mandatory by the government, or is it something that should be done on your own free will or personal choice?
I would have to say personal choice because I speak out of a point where if our government would give me the option, I would like to have the decision and not only say, it's obligated for you to take the vaccine. Because so many people look back at the research of the vaccines and actually feel like some of them weren't successful, they were unsuccessful. So I can think so many people are in doubt whether to take them or not. So I feel like you should always leave that up to your own decision of deciding, do I want to take it or not, and not forcefully actually, forcefully telling a person you need to take it. It's your own body, it's your own life.
I would also answer the same thing.
Yeah, it's your choice. I feel like you aren't. Especially in South Africa, we get choice for a lot of things, and it's not everything is mandatory, but it also is based on country to country and how your government and how your president handles the situation.
Yes, true. Yeah, because while we cannot obligate, like what you said, like we cannot obligate other people to do it. At least we could encourage them.
Yeah, you can. You can always say this is the pros, this is the cons, this is what it can do for you, but it's still your decision.
Yeah. So speaking of your country, I made a little research. Last year, the Constitutional Court of South Africa upheld a high court ruling that spanking children is a violation of the Constitution. Do you think that that physical punishment makes children behave, or why not? So let me repeat that. Do you think that belief that physical punishment makes children behave? Why or why not?
I wouldn't say it bases their action on whether you physically punish them or not, because not every single child is going to react the same. But I actually grew up with being spanked, and there's a saying in the Bible that says, and I don't know what it's said in English, so not a lot of people will actually understand what it says. "Tig tig jou kinders as julle liefhet." So how can I translate that? It's punish your children if you love them, but there's a fine line. Let's all admit it. There's a fine line between physically abusing a child and just doing it for some discipline. So I have no problem with I had no problem with growing up that way because I had parents who were responsible, who had the right intention. And unfortunately with parents, we don't know if they do have the right intention when they do it or not. And you try to always trust that they do have that intention. But there is a fine line. So I do understand where the court was coming from because there's a lot of violence going on in South Africa, a lot of gender-based violence. And I can just imagine that children fall victim to this.
Yeah. Great answer. Great answer. So we're down to my few questions. I don't know if you want to answer this. Um, it's up to you whether you want to answer this next. Why should you be the next Miss Universe?
I believe I do have a relatability factor, and I'm really blessed to say it's because of my experiences in life and because of my circumstances that I can say that. But I am so resilient as a being that everything that life has put me through, I've fought back even harder. And I feel like that's what a Miss Universe should be, is regardless of your circumstances or in the situation you're placed in, it's how you handle it and how you come out at the top. It's not necessarily being granted the best circumstances in life, but it's how you handle them. And along with that, I have a sensibility of how to treat people. And it's so important when you take on that position to know that you are there for fellow people, to represent them, to represent inclusivity, to represent what's important to you. Do you have passion and that passion inside of it?
No doubt.
And thank you.
No doubt. You're eloquent. So, fill in the blank. I am Natasha Joubert, and I am blank.
I know what you wanted to say. I know what you wanted to say. You want me to say I am Miss Universe, but I'm not going to say it because every single country is going to say that. I'm going to say I am Natasha Joubert, and I am a visionary. I am purposeful. I have worth, because that's the message I want to bring across to people out there. You are worthy, and you need to be a visionary in life and strive to be that.
Wow. Yeah. You always dare to be different. Yes. Visionary. It's my first time to hear that kind of, visionary. Someone who's a trailblazer, a pioneer. Oh, just wow. On that note, Miss Natasha, thank you so much for gracing this interview. I made it. I finished the interview with 1 hour.
Wait, we need to still do the
country
calling. Okay.
Yes.
This is the first time.
Yes. So many people are requesting. So Fonzie, can you give her the solo spotlight now? Hide me first.
Okay. Can I go? Natasha Joubert, South Africa. I love that.
Perfectly captured.
I love that. I get goosebumps. It's really lovely.
Yeah. I may never be able to relate it because I'll never be a contestant on a universals on an international stage, but I can really feel the love, how you guys are feeling proud about your country. South Africa could have never chosen a perfect or better candidate than you right now, Miss Natasha. So
thank you so much.
That's the last question. What can you give? Can you give a message to all your fans and supporters who have been rooting for you to get that back-to-back win for South Africa?
Of course. Really, I have so much gratitude and really grateful to have every single one of you in my life and supporting me from the start of my journey to now, where I get to represent South Africa. I just want to say thank you so much. Nothing goes unnoticed, and thank you for continuing to support my journey. I really appreciate it.
No doubt, back-to-back is real.
Thank you,
Miss Natasha, it has been such a pleasure getting to know you today. I mean, no words. I mean, South Africa has sent another formidable candidate in the upcoming Miss Universe, and
thank you so much. Really, thank you.
It's up to us to adjust to your caliber as a contestant.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for your support. Thank you for reaching out.
Yes, thank you. So I've been such in awe of South. I met your 2016 candidate when the pageant was held here in Manila. I forgot her name. I sat down I forgot her name, but even though she didn't make it to the semifinals, she struck me as yes,
so eloquent, really such a smart woman. She's actually a businesswoman and mommy herself. She spoke to us when we had a workshop as top 10. We just started our journey as top 10, and she actually came to speak to us in Tando. She's lovely, lovely, lovely.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to reconnect with her. Even though I only spent a few minutes with her just by chatting with her. She really struck me as someone who's very, who's very eloquent and very a
Very.
very powerful woman. So South African women are killing it in Miss Universe. So yeah,
Oh,
so uh, they are sending you more love and support. Marco says you have a grounded wisdom that makes you articulate and relatable. Well done.
thank
Um,
you, Mom. Thank you.
Someone is asking, one day I hope you can do a swimsuit walk.
Uh, surprise service. I feel like that's where you're gonna see him.
All right. So on that note, Miss Natasha, I won't keep you any longer, but thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege. It has been such a wonderful time getting to know you.
Thank
And now that
thank
I have
you.
interviewed you, all the more high regard I have for you and the
Thank
entire organization.
thank you so much, Adam. Thank you, and thank you for supporting us.
Yes. So I feel sad that I'm gonna end now. So, but thank you. So,
Thank
for
you. And thank you for
God,
everyone tuning in. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Good luck, Natasha. I hope we can do another
Thank
interview
you.
before you leave, assuming it's
Yes, I
gonna be 3 months
appreciate
from now. Yeah, just probably just a short interview since we've already gotten to know you better through this interview. So once again, thank you, Sir Werner, for making this possible. And Natasha, no words. You're one hell of an incredible woman we should look out for in the
you.
next Miss Universe
Thank you so
competition.
much.
God bless you. Stay safe and hydrated. Virtual hugs and kisses all the way from
Bye.
Manila, Philippines.
Bye.
Take care. Mwah.
Let's go straight to the story. The story has